Good evening. Welcome to the Town of Smyrna Beer Board. Today is October 14th, 2019. It's 5 o'clock and I'd like to call this meeting to order. First thing, if everybody could please stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are there any citizens' comments this evening? Everyone had a chance to review the minutes from the last meeting. Anything that needed to be changed?
No, it looks good. I'll make a motion we approve.
Got a motion to approve?
I second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? No old business this evening, so we'll move right to new business. The first beer application tonight is Ninja Sushi Japanese Grill. Is there anyone here to represent them? Okay, if you could step to the podium, we'll recess for a public hearing. State your name for the record.
Sun Xin-jo.
And you're just taking over the restaurant?
Yeah,
You're buying it?
yeah.
So you're the new owner, so change the
Yeah, it's
ownership.
new owner, yes.
Okay.
But you've worked there?
Yeah, I work there, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are you familiar, have you read the town of Smyrna's laws when it comes to serving alcohol? She said yes.
Sorry, I don't understand. Can you let she come in?
Yes, yes, we would love for her to come up.
Okay. Thank you.
So you're familiar with the town of Smyrna's laws when it comes to serving alcohol?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
So with the change of ownership, do you have any changes with how you're IDing your customers for the sale of alcohol, or
No.
same business as usual, checking every ID?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Do you have, for your point of sale, do you have something that you have to scan the IDs? Do you have to type the date in? No, you just check them?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Is this your first restaurant to own?
Yes.
All right.
All right, you can have a seat. We'll call the
Okay,
meeting
thank
back
you.
into order. Ask the board for a motion.
I make a motion to approve.
A second?
I've got a motion and a second. I will be abstaining from the vote tonight. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations. You can pick up your permit tomorrow after 10 a.m.
And thank you so much.
All right, next application is Pop's Bar and Grill. Is there anyone here to represent? Okay, if you could step to the podium, we'll recess for a public hearing. State your name for the record.
Bart Dennis.
Dennis. State your
This-
name.
I'm Brittany Slate.
This is my daughter.
Are you both co-owners, or who's the owner?
He's a sole proprietor.
You're right.
And so he pretty much owns the business, but he does live a little far. I do live in Smyrna, Laverne, so I'll be the one that'll pretty much be keeping up with the business day in and day out.
How many people work there?
We only have 4 employees.
Okay. And they've all been trained and they know to check?
That business has been there for now about 40 years. It was my grandparents. So it's the same people that were there. We just kind of took a break and trying to get all the stuff into our names now and get it switched over.
My mom died, we inherited it.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, when people come in to get alcohol, do you guys have a point of sale system that you enter stuff in, or are you visually just looking at IDs?
Well, we're a cash-based business, so we don't take any cards, but I do have Square, the POS. Most of our clientele is over the age of 40, but we still do check IDs.
Okay.
And you don't serve food?
We don't have a restaurant. There is a restaurant in it, but I'm trying to get that looked at right now to see, because it is really old in there, to see how everything works. But I do have chips, pretzels, Slim Jims. I have a bunch of different snacks like that that is available to purchase because people need to eat while they drink.
And Mr. Peach, could you answer, didn't we at one time have a requirement that you had to have food?
It still is. Our ordinance states that to sell for consumption on the premises, the applicant will make no sale except where meals or lunches are regularly served at tables or counters under a regular permit. So, the way this board has acted before, it was more than a microwave, but it didn't have to be as much as a full kitchen.
We just took over what they've been doing for the last 30 years. I know they didn't serve food. I don't know if it's grandfathered in or not. I don't really know the
It's not a
rules.
zoning.
Like I said, we inherited.
Not a zoning issue. And I could have recalled when they came last that we had an issue about kitchen. I thought that they were trying to get something in place at that time, if I recall, from 15. But
We do have a full kitchen and intend to get it going, but right now, we're kind of learning the ropes also.
sure, well, you can't sell, under our ordinance, you have to serve lunches and meals there. Now, like I said, it doesn't have to be a grand chef there to make all these things, but need to have some type of,
So pretzels and the chips and all that as kind of like snacks, it isn't.
I don't think that it would qualify as lunches and meals. That's up to these folks,
It would
but
need to be something that's sold, like a meal, like a lunch or a dinner, not just a snack that you would give all of your customers.
Well, I mean, I can make sandwiches and take them up there, and so that way they have some food, if that's what I need to do. Do they have to be sold? What if I just made them so we could open up?
I think as it reads, you have to regularly serve lunch and dinner to be able to sell alcohol.
No, I mean, like, there would be food, but it might not necessarily be sold because we don't have the kitchen in there to make anything. But what if I prepped things at home to have food stayed at the bar, whether it be ham sandwiches or pimento cheese or just like quick things to keep up so they can have, sandwich and chips, whether that be lunch or dinner, until I've called about getting the kitchen, remodeled, and with being closed as much as we were, what they wanted to come in there to tell me if it works was kind of out of my price range at the moment. So that's what we're in the process of doing now. And I'm sorry.
When was the last time that you said that y'all already talked to him one time about?
well, just June of 15, they came in for another permit at that
That,
time.
yeah, that
4
was my
years ago.
grandmother. She was with Sasha. My grandfather had just passed at that time. I didn't know anything about that because my grandmother came up here and she was wheelchair bound pretty much, and she had her caretaker, and no one said that to us because I was kind of helping my granny more with the money at that point and not with running the business. So I didn't know that that's what needed to happen, or we could have took care of that, a few years ago.
And that's
We-
one thing, it's not like, if they had a feet distance issue, that can be grandfathered. This is just a condition on the sale of alcohol. So we're not saying they can't sell alcohol, we're saying if you do, you have to do these things.
You have to serve lunch and dinner regularly.
And also, we will need to get, because they didn't show any managers on the application, so we would need to have a background done.
On managers,
Yes,
or all staff, or just managers?
on managers, and I think,
We
That's
technically
good.
we don't have a manager.
I thought you said you were.
That's gonna be you.
Oh, well, that's me.
So that, I think anything you do would be contingent upon that, obviously, for sure, if you did
The
approve.
background check?
Background check for the manager.
We just rewired it all, so I mean, we rewired the whole place while we've been in this shutdown. We're trying to get everything, up to standard.
Sure.
The kitchen most everything works. They didn't serve food, so we didn't know.
Well, to answer your question too, and it was a really good question, that we cannot tell you that it's okay to go home and fix sandwiches and bring them in, because you do have laws too as far as, health standards of serving food, so we can't really comment on that.
Okay.
But,
We can fix sandwiches there and be fine, can't we? I mean, we just bought 2 new refrigerators. We've got pretty much everything, we could have done so far.
What you're saying is if we feel that sandwiches and chips and drinks are sufficient to say it's either a lunch or a dinner,
Right.
that it would be okay.
I would say sandwiches and stuff like that is getting a little more into actual meal
Right.
versus pretzels and
Right,
everything.
right.
Now, obviously, we're telling them that's what our requirements are, just as they stated, Department of Health wouldn't deal with if there's any issues with food prep or those types of things, but.
Well, I
but we're
just
saying you
recently had it
have to have
inspected. We got a 98. I mean, the kitchen hasn't been used in years, so it's pretty much clean. That's probably why.
Yeah.
That's probably
I see.
why.
Any questions?
Any further discussion? Okay. If you guys would have a seat, I'll call the meeting back into order. Ask the board for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second. Okay. Go ahead. I'm just thinking, if they're already on their way to the kitchen, they've already been told in 2014 that they needed to get it done, could we delay the vote and approval until they get it done?
Obviously, this board can do whatever it likes. What my recommendation might be is, they know from the beginning, before they start serving alcohol, that they need to be serving lunches and meals. Secondly, would ask, again, that you also make it contingent upon the successful background check of the manager. But you can do both to answer
So we
your
need to
question.
delay it anyway for the background check.
Well, it could be, if you're successful on the
Contingent.
background check, then it would go into effect as soon as we receive the background check back, and they may not have to wait 30 days to come back to you. So
Okay.
I don't know how long, 2 weeks?
Okay.
It worries me not having a good menu, a good
Sure,
food.
a menu, yeah.
Yeah.
Usually you require a menu.
And I think there's some surrounding counties that I think that also sell alcohol that kind of think ran into the same thing. So they were doing, I think, like hot dogs, and they sometimes even have food trucks come. Don't know how that qualifies. It's a different county, but I do know there are a couple of places outside of our county that kind of have a light menu.
All right, do you want to table this till our next board meeting for November then?
I would feel comfortable with that.
Sure. And if you deferred, it would save them paying another fee for
Right.
waiting.
Okay. So do we just, I guess, make a motion to defer until the background check comes in
And a menu.
and the menu? Go from there?
And, yeah, and the kitchen up and running. Ready to serve meals. So I need to make that motion.
Well, we did have one, however, it was not seconded, so
Okay.
I guess it fails
We
for
have to
lack of a
repeat
second.
it. Okay.
I don't know if you got your second in or
I
not.
think we were simultaneous.
Oh, did you?
I don't know that it was ever
It wasn't.
over yours per se, but we need to make a motion to table, correct?
Right,
Right.
Yeah, to defer if you don't mind.
to defer, and I'm sorry, remind me your name again, please?
My name is Brittany.
Brittany, thank you, Brittany. All right, so I will make a motion to defer the approval of the beer license to our November beer board meeting. And that is contingent upon Brittany, your background check, you'll be the acting manager, and then the menu to be able to serve lunch and or dinner, a meal.
To be, it's pretty, by November, it'll probably be the same thing now what I said now. We can make food. I'm not, with us being closed, there's no way that I can come up with the money
Right.
to pay for a kitchen.
Understand.
And I think that's where we were talking that,
Yeah.
like you were discussing about sandwiches, hot dogs, that would all fall into line as far as being counted as a meal. So it wouldn't have to be an absorbent thing where you had to cook pastas and stuff like that. So
We get a hot dog machine that does the spinning.
I would say that would
Absolutely.
work fine.
And then the second part of that is just making sure that we have your background check complete.
Yeah, would need health codes would have to approve the serving of the food too.
Yeah, state
Even though
and
you've
county
been-
deal with that
you've been
anyway.
Inspected, you need to go back and let them know you're gonna be serving, because there are some different codes, regulations.
Right.
And that's the state, or is it, it's not Smyrna?
That's not Smyrna, that's the health department.
County health department.
County health.
But they would
Okay.
come out and inspect their hot dog machine or
And
whatever.
give approval for the serving of food.
All right, so we got a motion to defer contingent on the background and the menu. Do I have a second?
I can second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. So we will open the floor to any other new business. All right, reports of officers, committees, staff.
None here?
I'd like to set the next beer board meeting for November 4th at 5 PM. And ask the board for a motion to adjourn.
I motion that we adjourn. I will second.
I got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?